Let us begin. And good morning. This is the USBC Online Tournament Certification System webinar. I'm David Prang, the USBC's Western Regional Manager. I'm going to take you through this morning. Should take us about 20-25 minutes to get through this system, to get through this webinar. And we're going to pretty well walk you through every part of this OTC system that we have. So let's get right into it. The first thing that you need to do is, of course, as you'll see on the bottom there in the red, you log in through bowl.com. It's under the tournament tabs and tournament certification. You'll click that. It'll bring you to that page you see right there, which is the sign-in page. And what you're going to do is you're going to use your bowl.com login to log into the system. This is an individual, these are linked to your individual membership. You'll have your own bowl.com login. It's linked to your membership. It's not a association-based password or anything like that. It's your own individual one. Obviously, if you got one, you're good to go. You can go ahead there. If you don't, you can click right there, and you will create a bowl.com account. It'll walk you through that. But once you've done that, you're going to, as it shows, put in your username and password and click Login. It's going to take you to this landing page here. As you'll see, it'll have your name on it. Obviously, I've created an account called Tournament Director there. But make sure it has your name on it so that you know you're in the right place. And then we're going to go right here and click Next. Once we've done that, it takes you to this page. This is a page that lists any previous tournaments that you have already certified and their statuses. They're the stuff next to the right arrow. You'll see the season of it, the certification numbers, the names, the dates, what the current status is. And over here on the right side, of course, a very important thing where you can choose what options you would like to do. For instance, that top tournament, it shows that the tournament is completed and the report's been submitted, so you can click View Summary to obviously view all the information that's available on the tournament, or Renew Tournament. If you're going to run the same tournament again at a different time, if you click Renew Tournament, it'll bring up all the information and autofill the information from the past tournament with the exception of the dates and the bowling centers. So you can go in there and put those in. If there's any changes to your entry fee or prize funds, you can make those adjustments, but it saves you going through the entire event and filling everything out again. So that's a pretty nice situation. The tournament listed there at the bottom, the second one, you'll see they have the option of Edit Tournament. So while that tournament hasn't taken place yet, so you can go in there and make any changes to it that are necessary prior to the start of the tournament. So a couple of nice options there. Up at the top, right there, you'll see where you can print out your certificate, your tournament certificate, by clicking on one of the certification numbers, and we'll talk about that a little later. But mainly what we're here for is we're here to certify a new tournament, show you how to get through the tournament. So once you've clicked Certify a New Tournament right there, it brings out the main page here. You're going to fill in that information at the top there by the yellow arrow. You're going to put in the name of the tournament, the start and the end date, and you're going to choose beneath it who's participating, be it adults, youth, or mixed adult-youth teams. I do want to make a comment about the tournament name. Be descriptive in your tournament name and actually type out the whole thing. If you're in the North Central Texas USBC Association and you're running an Open Championships, name the tournament the 2015 North Central Texas USBC Open Championships. Don't call it City Tournament, because whatever name you put in there is what's going to show up on the certification. And you know, you want to be descriptive and you want to have the proper name. And I can assure you we see some abbreviations and unusual names that come across here. Be descriptive. Name it, tell it what it is. Name it exactly as it's supposed to be. So the next thing is down below here. If you check that box right there, it's going to autofill your personal information. Now that's going to be you as the person that certifies the tournament. It's going to pull up whatever name and address you have associated with your USBC membership. Obviously, you can go in and change it and make adjustments to it. If you want to use a different address or something, that's fine, but it does save a few things. The only thing you need to do is you will have to re-enter your email address, because we always verify that that's in there correctly, because that's how we send you the tournament certification and the summary for the event. So when you've got all that in there, I'm going to click Next again. This is a brand new page. Actually, was just updated literally within the last few weeks. The page was there, but we've changed the way it's set up. It asks if this is a required association championship tournament, and we've added a description through it. So these association championship tournaments are those required through your charter and listed on the association in the policy manual, Chapter 7, Section E. And you will choose yes or no to whether it is an association championship tournament. Just because a tournament has the name championship in the title does not mean it's one of the required tournaments. You, as if you're an emerged association, you're required to run an open, a women's, and a youth tournament. Obviously, BAs and WBAs run their own individuals, but that's what your championship tournament is. So if you click no, it's going to take you just to the next page. If you click yes, it's going to bring out an additional menu. And what you're going to add to it is you're going to type in your association number. When you hit enter or tab, it's going to bring up the association name right there. Please make sure it is the name of your association, because it's very easy to transpose a number or type a wrong number. We see it all the time. And if your association name is not in there, obviously you will not get credit for that championship tournament. So simple thing, but be sure to check that out. Then the next thing you're going to do below is we have a new radio buttons there where you're going to choose what kind of tournament it is. Is it your open? Is it your women's? Or is it your youth event? You need to choose one of those. Once you've done that, click Next. You go to the next page. This is just a tournament manager duties acknowledgement form. It's Rule 303. It just tells you of all the things that as a tournament director that you are required to do. Just going to read that and click Next. Next, it brings up the additional tournament options. These are things that may or may not apply to you. If you click one, we're going to go through each one separately, but if you click one, first of all, of course, you have collegiate bowling. Generally does not apply to local or state bowling associations, but USBC collegiate membership is available to student athletes that are participating on an intercollegiate team. And of course, intercollegiate teams must complete an application for USBC membership and submit the required dues. So again, doesn't really apply to most locals, but that's how a collegiate team or a collegiate tournament would be certified. Next one is sport bowling. If you are running a sport bowling tournament, you would click that, and on the next screen you would see that disclaimer box that comes up below, reminding you of a couple of things you need to do in running a sport bowling event. Then we have Mela Graphic. Now, Mela Graphic is covered under Rule 302. Mela Graphic tournament is one which the scores are submitted from separate competitions in a bowling establishment or association, and they're compared to one another to qualify for prizes in one common prize list. Most of us have dealt with these before. It's, you might have an event that runs between all the centers in your association. As a Mela Graphic, you use league scores usually to create this, and there are, like I say, there are several rules that apply to that, but be sure you check Rule 302 before you run a Mela Graphic event. Finally, then, the other choice is modified, and as you see there, when I click modified, it brings down a separate menu. Modified formats have there are different alternatives to traditional bowling. Some of the formats, such as the Baker system or Scotch doubles, require bowlers to interact more and create a more fun and social atmosphere. Couple of the key requirements, with the exception of bumpers, all USBC equipment specifications apply, and of course all USBC rules apply where practical, obviously. Only award scores bowled using the standard 10-pin scoring system that we describe in USBC Rule 2A and meeting the USBC equipment specifications will qualify for awards. So needless to say, if you shoot 300 in a 9-pin no-tap tournament, if it is a legitimate 300 game with all legitimate strikes, you can get the award for that. If there's any 9 counts in there, obviously you're not eligible for that award. Obviously down the list there, Scotch doubles, 369, best balls, pro-ams, your 40 frame games, and then others, essentially anything that's not American 10-pin bowling that's not listed here would be an other. Examples of that would be duck pins, a low ball tournament, a 159. We've got 369 there, for instance, a 159 or 1510. You know, any variation on that would fit there under other. So those are modified formats. So let's just briefly touch on youth certification. It's essentially the same, but there's just a couple of little differences between it. This is the that home page again that we were talking about. So there you're going to click the youth button. When you click that, it brings up a little different page here. You will need to put in your smart account number that you are going to use for this youth tournament. That's one of the main things you're going to do there, is to use that. So be sure you put in the smart number there. If you pick Junior Gold, you're going to have another page come up, and you kind of see it on the right there that gives you all the information you need to know about a Junior Gold tournament. We always suggest, if you're going to run a Junior Gold tournament, to contact the youth department ahead of time so you've got all of the information that you need prior to certifying the event. So let's get back to the certification. So we filled out all of the basic information. We chose what type of tournament we're going to host. Now we've got to give some specifics. My best suggestion to you is to have a copy of your entry form and the rules with you when you're going through the certification, because all the answers you need are there. So right there on top, you're going to put the entry closing date. We always suggest that it's the last date of the tournament, even if you have early entry, reserved entry dates. We suggest the last date because that allows you to take entries up until the close of the event. A lot of people will have, you know, like 7 days out, they'll have a reserved entry closing date there. Well, the problem is that you can't technically take any entries after that date. So early bird entry is one thing, but we suggest the final entry date for your reserved entries to be in there. You've got a couple of buttons to click there asking if you take walk-in entries. Obviously, if you're taking walk-ins, you need to have that reserved entry date at the end of your tournament. And then whether you're charging a late fee, and that's what would apply to like an early bird situation and how much that late fee would be. Down below, you've got eligibility requirements. You need to choose at least one of those. A couple of different things you can go through there. There's participation fees for non-members. Obviously, current members of USBC, which is the most normally used one, and the option that you can purchase your membership right there online. And just so you're aware, if you are running an association championship tournament, if you did a championship tournament earlier on, the last 3 options are going to be grayed out. You cannot choose them. You have to either be a member or you have to buy a membership on site. So once we've gone through that, the moral support certification page comes up. It kind of gives a brief explanation and tells you to go to Rule 301A. Again, definitely take a look at that. Moral support is being used more and more today, but it's rare for an association to use it. A moral support tournament is one in which the tournament's conducted by a single civic, fraternal, benevolent, military service, union, or religious organization. It has to meet all the requirements of Rule 300B, and participation is restricted to people who are members of whichever organization that is. So if it is a civic event, say it's going to be for postal workers in your town, then you can certify it by using a moral support certification. They do not have to be USBC members to bowl. but they must be members of that organization, in this case the Postal Service in your town. If you do choose yes, you're going to see a pull-down menu come there, signified by the yellow arrow, and down below are those options, which I actually just went through briefly. Again, what they are, as I said, civic is city, state, federal employees, postal workers, firefighters, things like that. Fraternal organizations are things like the Moose Club, the Eagles, the Elks, the American Legion. Benevolent organizations tend to be charities, March of Dimes, Susan G. Komen, BVL. A lot of associations run Komen events and BVL events, and if you're not certifying them, you should probably do that using a moral support certification. Then you can have anybody bowl, whether they're USBC members or not, and still have a certified event. Military service, pretty obvious. It's military branches. Union is Teamsters, auto workers, things like that. Religious organizations is pretty self-explanatory. And then finally others, things like Special Olympics, the Senior Olympics. International competition falls under other. Specific organizations such as IGBO and MAMBO and things, they would be other organizations. So there's your options on that. And if there's other organizations that want to be included in that list, they can just contact the rules department here at USBC. So we've done all that. Now we have to add a bowling center. So you're going to click that blue box right there. It's going to take you to a search page. Now you can search in several different ways. You can search by a center name, a center number, or by a city and state. So you're going to fill those in. I've chosen that bowling center. You're going to click next, and it will bring up any matches down at the bottom of the page. Seeing this is the center that I want to certify, use for this tournament, I'm going to click select to choose that, and of course then we're going to go over here and click next. Now you'll see that that center is part of the tournament. So you can do one of two things. You can either move along if that's the only center, or you can click here, which will add another center. So if you're running a tournament in multiple bowling centers, like some will run a team event in one, doubles and singles in the other, you would click right there. It would take you back through the process, the search engine again, and you would choose and select the new bowling center. And when you choose a second bowling center, it shows up at the top just like that one does there. So I'm good with that. So the other thing you have to do is we need to have the time of the first squad of the tournament and the time of your last squad of the tournament. So definitely put those things in there. And we're going to click next again. It brings us to a page going to tell us about the entry fees and your events and things. The key here is that all entry fees and things are per bowler. So be sure you separate that by per bowler. You'll look down below and you see that I have each event has a $6 lineage and a $4 prize fund. And then to the right of the team event, you'll see it says how many players per team. Be sure you put that in there because the system will calculate out. Obviously, it knows how many players are in doubles. It has to know how many are on your team event, and it will automatically calculate those out. Down below, all events, if you're having it, you put in the information there. And then special events, fill in the information, and then down below you will see a place to list what the special events are. In this case, I have a scratch all events listed. Now on the bottom, two quick questions. Is multiple participation allowed? Yes or no. If it is, down below it asks you to put the number of entries allowed per event. Now, if you only allow somebody to bowl the team event twice, then put in 2. If you can bowl unlimited amounts of times, I suggest you put in the number of squads you have in the tournament. So if you have 6 or 8 squads in your tournament, put 6 or 8 in there. It leaves it open for that. We're going to click next again. Now we're going to talk about your tournament prizes. This is an important thing here, and it's in red for a reason. Are your prizes a guaranteed prize? The definition there, a guaranteed prize, is a prize that is paid regardless of the number of entries in the tournament. The concept of paying back 100% of your prize fund is not a guarantee, it's a requirement. A lot of people will click yes that the prizes are guaranteed, and then on the next page, in fact we'll just go there, where you see the explanation by the yellow arrow, people will put 100% of prize fund return. Well, that's not a guarantee. That is required by USBC rules. Guarantees are, as I have it there, we're going to pay $1,000 first place team, and that means you're going to pay $1,000 whether you have 2 entries or 200 entries. So that's what a guarantee is. So be very careful on that. And if you ever have any questions, contact us here at USBC headquarters. We can certainly help you with that. Down below, you're going to read the disclaimer that you understand what you're doing. You're going to enter your initials and click Next. Informational page here on Rule 329, which covers protests. I highly suggest, if it is not there, that you have Rule 329 in your tournament rules. Even if it's as simple as Rule 329 will apply. Very important because it covers protests in your tournament. Click I accept there, and then we're going to click Next again. Now we've got an agreement. Essentially, this is you're agreeing to follow the provisions of certifying a tournament through USBC, including the payouts, the submission of final standings, financial information, smart scholarships, etc., etc. Again, you're going to accept those terms and click Next again. And you have actually certified your tournament now. This is a copy of the tournament summary report. You can click right there to print that page for your file. I suggest you do. It's nice to have the information in the file. It gives you a certification number, the name, the dates, the bowling centers, all the things you need to know. So if you need it in the future. If you want to post your tournament certificate, you're going to click that button there. And when you do, here comes your tournament certificate. Gives you the name of the tournament. You notice that again, it prints whatever you put in there. So put the full name in there. It tells you the dates, the bowling center. If it's a single center, it'll list the name of the center. If it's multiple, it lists it as we have. And the certification number. That can be printed out in black and white or color. We do suggest you do that and post it at your tournament site so your bowlers can see that it is a certified event. Now moving on a little bit, there's another thing you can do in the system which is called a comprehensive certification. And comprehensive event is a group of tournaments all conducted under the same set of rules. Comprehensive events are more commonly referred to as either a tournament series, a tour, or a club. And by applying for comprehensive certification, you can save considerable time and effort in the certification process because you can do you can certify them all together at one time instead of doing them all separately. So it does save a lot of effort. So if you do click yes, you're going to click Next. This is what the comprehensive page looks like. You've got, of course, a disclaimer that explains all of the information that you need to know. Click Next there again. It's going to bring up this page, and you're going to add bowling centers and things just the way we did earlier, but you're going to do them all as one group. You'll notice up at the top, I've certified 4 events on 4 consecutive weekends. They don't have to be consecutive, but on 4 weekends. And they're alternating between bowling centers here. So you would be able, by clicking the little down arrow there, you could pick the bowling center that you have for the tournament. If you're going to add some more, you just add it down here and add the event. If you're going to add another date or a center, you're going to click down here at the bottom. Again, local associations don't use it a whole lot, but every once in a while they do, so it's a nice thing to understand. It does save a whole lot of effort. So your tournament is over now. And we've got to go back in. This is one of the biggest portions of this system that is overlooked. You have to go in and do the final reporting for the tournament. So when you log in, of course, again, there's that landing page, and you will see that the tournament we just ran is up at the top there. Tournament is over, it's certified, and it's asking us to submit the report. So you're going to click Submit Report there on the right side. It's going to bring up a page that looks like this. You're going to input the number of entries for each event right there in that system. You notice it's calculated out the prize fund from those numbers we gave it earlier. You're going to put in the numbers. It's automatically going to calculate out the fees you've collected. Then you're going to put in payouts. Here's the amount of cash we paid out, and then if you pay out any prizes or trophies or anything like that, obviously add it there. If not, obviously that would remain blank, and it's going to add it across. Remember, we had that added money, so we're going to put that in there if we had added money. And of course, the key to life here are the red arrows, is that the left side and the right side both balance. So be sure that you check that out so you've got the numbers in correctly. Down below, you'll see the date the tournament prizes are paid. Put in the date that you paid them out. Remember, USBC rules require you pay out a tournament within 30 days of the completion of the tournament. And then you've got a space for sponsor name. It's something if you want to put in there. If you had a sponsor that added that added money, you could certainly put it in. It's not required. I just wanted to comment also on this. WinLabs is a completely separate program, and it does not communicate with this OTC program. So it is necessary to do this reporting function on this page through the OTC. I know a lot of people run their tournaments through WinLabs, but again, it doesn't communicate. So even though you have the data on WinLabs, you need to come over here and put it in. And you can see it's very simple. Also, I just want to make one more comment about the number of entries. If you have multiple divisions and they're all running under the same prize funds and the same rules, then you can add them together. So we may have had two divisions here. One had 12 in it and one had 8. You can add it together and do it that way. So when we're done, I'm going to click Submit, and it's going to give you a page that tells you it's been submitted and how to submit your final reports. Your final report that we need here at USBC is a listing of all of the cashers of the tournament, the names, their scores, a place they finished, and obviously how much money they won. If you're using WinLabs, that's a real simple thing. It prints that right out for you. So you can just send that in. If you're using any of the other tournament programs, they also have the same function. So it's really easy. It's nothing you have to create on your own as long as you're using one of the either tournament programs or WinLabs. Two things to know here. If you are using Microsoft Outlook as your email program, you can click right there where it says click here to submit. It'll open Outlook. It'll autofill the address it needs to go into, and you can just attach your file, attach it in one of these formats, and that'll work. If you are not using Microsoft Outlook, if you're using Gmail or Yahoo or one of the other things, AOL or something, you're going to need to send it to Jen Land. She is our tournament certification coordinator. jen.land@bowl.com is her email address. Obviously, you can always call here if you don't remember that. So that is how you do that. Please remember, always include your tournament certification number also on anything you send to us, because we need to know where it all goes. So that being done, we've gone through the whole tournament process. We've certified our event. We've finished it. We've done the financial reporting. And that is all that's involved in it. It's not an overly difficult program to use, but there's a lot of little pieces, and there's a lot of things it does that most people don't know, and that was the concept of this program. So at this point in time, if you have any questions on your control panel there is a question section. Feel free to type one in, and I will be happy to answer those. If not, I'm going to be sending a copy of this presentation to everybody that attended today, so you will be able to have a copy of this where you can follow it through. And of course, on this page, feel free to contact myself or any of the other regional managers. Robin, George, and Jim are very up to date on how this program works, and we're happy to help you out. And remember, with the new tournament performance standards, you do need to certify your championship events. So we hope you certify every tournament that you run, but you must definitely certify your championship events through the OTC system. So not seeing any questions at this point. Like I say, if you have any questions, email me or anybody else. Gerald, thanks very much. I appreciate you guys being here. And at that point, like I said, contact us anytime you need anything. Thanks for attending. Hope you all have a great day.